Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate all of you in having the JITO meeting in New Delhi, and I wish you all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, we began our G20 journey with a vision to move towards our ambitions of Amritkal and Prime Minister's vision of India being a developed country by 2047. Ladies and gentlemen, resonating with our theme of one earth, one family, and one future, India's Amritkal is crucial for not just the country but also the entire world. Our pathway to achieve the objective of 2047 Amritkal are improved social outcomes and achieving SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, enhancing female labor force participation, leveraging digital technologies to reach the last mile, make rapid progress on sunrise areas of growth, keep sustainability at the core of growth, evolve the role of the state as facilitators of finance. India's Amritkal is crucial for not just the country but also the entire world due to the scale of cascading crises affecting everyone. Our presidency's goal is to emerge as the problem solver for global cascading and interlinked crises for a resilient, sustainable, and inclusive world. We adopted a cross-cutting approach for our presidency through 6 key priority buckets, across which all the outcomes are being agreed upon. These include strong, sustainable, balanced, and inclusive growth, accelerating progress on sustainable development goals, Green Development Pact for a sustainable future, multilateral institutions for the 21st century, technological transformation and digital public infrastructure, gender equality and empowerment of women. Ladies and gentlemen, each of our priorities is focused on a significant aspect that will be key to achieving objectives of Amritkal. We are focused on improving social outcomes through SDG impetus, ensure an integrated approach to development and climate action for the developing countries, among other priorities. Our focus has been on the global south. The Prime Minister started the G20 by addressing and interacting with 125 countries of the global south. We have kept their priorities throughout our presidency. G20 has provided us with an opportunity to promote our economic and investment opportunities to attract foreign direct investment, especially for sunrise and emerging sectors such as green hydrogen, digital economy, millets, mobility, amongst multiple others. We should be focused on growing investments through both public and private funds for growth and development, while pushing for adoption of digital public infrastructure and paving the way for women-led development globally through our G20 outcomes and priorities. The 4 global trends of demographics, digitalization, decarbonization, and deglobalization are favoring India. Moving forward, we must strive to get into the sunrise sectors of growth: genomics, artificial intelligence, clean and connected mobility, green hydrogen, and advanced chemistry cells, solar panels, electrolyzers, green steel, amongst others, and many more. We must leapfrog into these sectors of growth. Private sector and government collaboration for growth and development. The current upheaval in the global economy affords India the chance to establish itself as an integral part of the global value chains. However, for this to become a reality, we must raise our competitiveness. The world is increasingly demanding products of high quality, high-tech products with a minimal carbon footprint. Businesses and investors must strive to make their companies lean, digital, and green. However, this will require substantial investments in R&D, where India's private investment must be enhanced. For instance, India's R&D expenditure as a percentage of GDP stood at 0.6%. In contrast, South Korea's R&D expenditure stood at 4.5% of GDP and China's 2.1% of GDP. Ladies and gentlemen, the role of the state must continue to evolve if we are able to achieve this vision. Our economic transition must be led by the private sector. The government at all levels must become facilitators of growth and investment. We must strive to make India one of the easiest places to do business in. The role of the state must evolve into facilitator of private investment while ensuring efficient and targeted delivery of public services in partnership with the private sector and civil society. With the global economy slowing down, India's development model has resonated across the world. Our investments in building physical, digital, and social infrastructure, along with a sound decarbonization strategy, is now paying dividends, and the transformation is visible to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the world faces the challenge of whole range of challenges, but also the opportunity brought in by the digitalization. India stands prepared. Over the past few years, we've built one of the best digital public infrastructure ecosystems in the world. Digital technologies, cloud, blockchain, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and their impacts on how data is a new strategic asset is managed represents a huge opportunity for productivity and growth. Today, more than ever, digital technologies are a key enabler of economic growth. Digital infrastructure has now become indispensable for society. India's DPI has led to digital and financial inclusion, delivery of services, prevention of monopolies and security, privacy and good governance. India's DPI model is accessible, affordable, and interoperable. India's robust digital infrastructure has been an enabler for improving the scale of digital products and services developed by the startups. For example, the UPI, which processes millions of transactions a day, the platform approach being pursued by the government will enable private innovation to be built on public platforms. Supplemented by the platforms approach taken by India, the global fintech ecosystem is poised to leapfrog. Through public-private partnership and an enabling policy ecosystem, fintech will usher in a new era of financial inclusion. The next generation technologies such as AI, cloud computing, IoT, and blockchain, amongst others, are all based on a digital backbone. DPI has the potential to be a robust digital backbone through seamless interoperability, low cost of digital development, and ease of reaching the last mile. Today, many startups are innovating using Industry 4.0 technologies. A recent report has predicted that India can see 250 unicorns by 2025, and that close to 50% of these companies are building products to serve global markets. India has evolved to become the world's third largest startup ecosystem, second only to US and China, where we reached more than 100 unicorns in the past year. Ladies and gentlemen, our startups are innovating across the spheres of health, education, and agriculture. Amongst others, these are all crucial pillars of the SDG agenda as well. To fulfill our vision on making Indian products globally competitive, this is the time for us to establish a new identity of quality and reliability. We must seek to leverage this DPI to enable adoption of frontier technologies by India's small and medium enterprises. Ladies and gentlemen, historically we have seen economies in East and Southeast Asia transform themselves within a generation. Japan was the first economy to grow in the post-World War II period, which many call as the Japanese miracle. The Japanese miracle was followed by the emergence of the East Asian tigers, 4 countries with rapid growth and industrialization: South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. Since the 80s and 90s, China has emerged. In terms of the size, the Indian economy surpassed Korea in early 2000s itself. Currently, the size of the Indian economy is 3 trillion plus, while South Korea stands at 1.8 trillion. However, per capita incomes and purchasing power are critical and they are more as important as the size of the economy. Our aspiration is to become a high-income country will only be met through sustained economic growth. An average growth of 8% plus over the next 30 years has the potential to transform the face of Indian economy. Achieving such rates of growth will require reforms, both economic and governance. Fortunately, over the past 9 years, we've seen game-changing reforms being adopted. India has adopted a multi-pronged approach that created an enabling environment for private investment and entrepreneurship to thrive. Governance has shifted from a focus on tracking inputs and activities to tracking and delivering high quality outcomes. Accountability and incentives to achieve priority national outcomes have been built into the governance frameworks. Policies and programs designs have to be evidence based. Intuition based policies do not serve the purpose in modern governance. Moving forward, these significant agreements and outcomes need to be coupled with a forward looking and planned policy action. Building upon our policy successes of the past, India is moving rapidly towards its aspiration of Amritkal by achieving SDGs, enhancing female labor force participation, and leveraging digital technologies to reach the last mile. For decades to come, we are determined to ensure that our G20 presidency is remembered as a significant milestone in taking India's development and growth story to the world. This year, G20 marks a move away from status quoist approach and will usher the world towards a disruptive transformation leading to green, inclusive, and responsible economic development and growth for all. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.